Well, we found two quite different sets of things really. First of all, we looked at the pound surface itself, so the late 19th century to early 20th century pound, and then rather unexpectedly below that pound surface we've discovered a medieval building. And it's significant because it is unexpected, but it's also significant because of the degree of preservation. So rather than just seeing the foundations of a house like that perhaps we normally find on excavations, this one was infilled with its own upper story, we presume, on its demolition. And so the lower story is preserved right up to the full height of the ground floor rooms. It's got a rather fancy fireplace, which when built, that would have been quite a novelty, I think, in the house. And the fireplace is also made with a nicely dressed surround of Bath stone, which has had to be imported from the Bath area. So again, that's an indicator of quite some wealth. At the moment, I would guess we've still got a lot of work to do, but I would guess the house probably dates from somewhere between perhaps, say, 1350 and 1450 when it was built, and then it seems to have been disused around about 1600. Once we go off-site, all the finds need to be examined by specialists. So in terms of dating, that would particularly come down to all the pottery finds. But also there's a lot of animal bone that needs looking at, and a few metalwork finds. We had set up a community project, lots of involvement with school children, and I tried to manage expectations that we probably wouldn't find anything spectacular on the site. But then on the very last day of that part of the project, we then discover this structure, and that in order to resolve that before the building work starts, it was going to be at least as much work again as we'd already put into the project. So that was a mixture of excitement about what the building was, and then perhaps concern that we were taking on a much bigger job than we'd anticipated. It's been quite a successful project. Obviously, when you find interesting things, it makes it easier to have a successful project, but nonetheless that owes an enormous amount to everybody's enthusiasm and interest in being involved here. I think that one of the key things, as I'm sure you've gathered by talking to other people, has just been the involvement of all the volunteers and the people of Llandaff and the interest that they've shown. So all this is their hard work. Obviously there's a lot more to come. We have input from specialists, but we also want to involve the Llandaff people more in what goes on, perhaps involve them in helping the pottery specialists sort the pottery, for instance, that sort of thing, so we can keep the engagement with the heritage going even once the site has closed down.